This
There we go.
conference will now be recorded.
So cool, cool. So you say you
I'm
just
supposed to dress up. I'm supposed to dress up.
yeah, man, you're supposed to dress. No, you ain't supposed to dress up.
Oh,
You don't have to dress up for this, man. You come
okay,
as you
cool.
is. Yeah. No, this is just no, I want to look presentable for you, man. Dude,
Okay. What's
there.
up, man?
Well, not much, man. Not much, man. I appreciate you doing this, man. Appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Nah, this is cool. Of course, we gotta support each other, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you got kids about to go to bed, or well, it's only
Yep.
7:30, so
Nah, they usually get to bed. It's like shut downtown now, so it's
uh,
usually about 8 o'clock. So this is like wind down time.
wind down. I hear you. So
They
you
try to
you got
milk.
your wife, you all three of them, huh?
Yeah. So I got 8-year-old, 5-year-old, and then a baby like 18 months.
Ooh, you don't get
And
much
she
sleep,
made
do
me
you?
that what is they like early risers too.
Ooh,
I know. Totally opposite from me.
yeah, man. That's okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So well, I'll try to get through this because I know you want to get back to your family time.
Okay, it's all good.
Um, well, let me go ahead. I guess kind of hit that intro real quick.
Okay.
Hey, hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Pat Brown. I'm a financial advisor with Edmonds Duncan here in Lawrence, Kansas. I played football for University of Kansas years and years and years and years ago, and enjoyed my time immensely. I played outside linebacker, was a 3-year starter, and again had a great time and enjoyed myself. Um, I became very, very passionate about financial literacy, dealing with student athletes, and for years it kind of led me to this, more or less doing these interviews with former student athletes to kind of help current student athletes understand and develop habits that will help them make better informed financial decisions. And so I have my man Terry Nooner, which I had known back in the day when I was playing. He was playing for KU basketball, men's basketball team, and um, again, he's taking the time to kind of talk with us a little bit, and hopefully, again, we have some student athletes that are listening and watching. So Terry, if you can kind of talk about kind of your plight to where you got as far as basketball. I know you were a walk on.
Yep.
You walked on. You became team captain. I mean, that's a nice little story. If you want to go into that real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I was recruited out of high school by mid majors and like smaller D1 schools. K State was one of them, which I consider
Oh,
small D1. They small D1 to me, but
yeah, right.
but I mean, I really had a dream. Like it was crazy to think like my thinking back then. I don't know how I thought it, but in my mindset, I thought um, I want to go to KU. Of course, I'll be a walk on. I'm gonna get a scholarship at some point, which was unheard of back then.
Right.
And once I graduate, I was gonna have Roy Williams and the KU connections, and they was gonna get me a job. That was like that was like the totality of my thinking. I don't
Uh-huh.
know how, and in a way, that was. I mean, it's kind of true. It's kind of coming to KU is why I'm a coach and why I'm here now, which
Yeah.
is crazy to think. I was thinking like stuff would be like, you know how you look on movies and you see the alumni meetings and you get to meet all these rich
Yep.
boosters after games and you smoozing with these business owners. In my mind, that's what I thought
Right.
was gonna be my path, which it wasn't like that, but I still made a lot of connections while I was here. And I never thought I wanted to be a coach till probably 7, 8 years after I graduated, which
Oh,
that's another thing. Roy had asked me the day after our senior banquet, like if I wanted to work and have a job and be on the staff, and I actually told him no. I told him
did you
no.
really?
Yeah, and my family was pissed. But at the time, a KU basketball player, you're spoiled and everything is handed to you, and I mean, the lifestyle here of being like a KU athlete, and in my
Right.
mind, I'm still thinking, forget basketball. Somebody just go give me some high paying job doing nothing because I played at KU and I
Because
don't want to coach and it's too stressful. And but I think what he saw in me was just my gifts to be able to connect with people and my passion and my knowledge of the game and that kind of stuff. So I went from that to teaching for like 6 or 7 years, and then I started coaching sixth grade girls basketball
Oh,
and
wow.
built up a AU program. So after 5 years of coaching those girls, I got offered my first college coaching job. That was kind of like how I got started. So I went from turning
Cool.
down Roy Williams in 2000 to 2011. I was a mid-major girls basketball coach.
Crazy. Crazy how
Yeah,
things work out.
it is. It's real crazy. So, and I
Okay.
mean, part of me getting that first job was the coach that gave me that first job. I didn't have experience, but I had Roy as a reference. I had Danny as a reference. I had Steve Woodbury. I had Neil Doherty, who rest in peace, who was assistant
Rest
coach
in
here when I
peace.
played. So I had all those people that was from me playing at KU to vouch for me to get my first job and to kind of testify to my character and my work ethic and that kind of stuff. And Coach Missy Tiber gave me my first job, and I just like flipped it from there. So my idea of coming to KU ended up helping me out in the end.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out.
He said high power job. I'm turning this down. That's pretty good, man. I
Yep.
wasn't expecting that, but that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
So, well, I guess because with your situation, being a walk-on and getting on a scholarship, I mean, I guess you really did have to kind of look at budgeting and so forth from a different
Yeah.
viewpoint. Because typically
Yeah.
my first question is, tell me about your thoughts about money,
Uh-huh.
freshmen and so forth. So yeah, kind of dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, so my freshman year, like I stayed in McCollum. Um,
Mhm.
that was a good thing for me too because I think a big part of my popularity when I was on the team was people saw me as a regular person. Like,
Yeah.
I was in the regular dorms. I didn't move to the towers till after my freshman year, and so I was in the regular dorms. I was on the team, and they checked for me at the games, but I had to take my shower caddy down the hallway and take a shower. So I got to do
You're like, what's
everything.
up, guys?
Yeah, like I was a normal student. I had my robe on and my caddy, and so I like really had to experience, eating Miss E's every day, and
Yep.
like I had to experience all that. So out of high school, I had real good grades, so I had like academic scholarships. So that was another part of it. Like I knew that coming here with the academic scholarships that I won and that I got from KU, that I was gonna be able to have school paid for, and I just had to
Mhm.
figure out how to get it the rest of it paid for after that first year. And luckily, Coach Williams put me on scholarship my sophomore year, which was kind of like the blessing. But I had to, like I had to do all the stuff in the dorms. I had to budget my money and figure out how to pay for stuff. In addition to, my mom was single, so and three younger brothers and sisters, so trying to figure out how to help them out back at home and try to manage stuff here. So I had to kind of do all of that different stuff.
So, did anybody ever talk to you about that type of stuff, or was it literally by trial and error?
It was really, yeah, just kind of like, like, cause I didn't come from, my mom didn't come. We was just, I didn't realize we were poor, and
Right.
probably up until right before I got married, my mom had just in a matter of fact conversation, was like, yeah, your wedding's coming up. If you need me to help take care of some stuff for you, you and your wife, since this bankruptcy came off my credit that I got when you was in high school, and I was like, she said it like I had knew the whole like that I had knew the whole time. So like
Oh,
I was
you're
like,
like,
you was
mama?
yeah. I mean, she made sure like I had the stuff the other kids had, and try to send me money like whenever she could, like my freshman year, and that kind of stuff. But I didn't even know like. So I didn't know nothing about a budget, and I mean I could count. I
Mm,
know how to keep money. So I didn't know nothing about saving then. I didn't know nothing about none of that stuff probably until I was grown.
yeah. So even from a credit standpoint, because I had always joked about, with some of the other guys who are KU, on West Coast Beach, you can get up there and, fill out the
Yeah.
little application, get a T-shirt, get a pack of Skittles, and, there you
Uh-huh.
go. You got a credit card.
Yep. And the flip side of that, we was telling the story. So I had went so I had to go after I graduated. They had me set up to do like an interview with the Dallas Sports Commission. Coach
Mm.
Holiday had hooked me up with the person that was over. So I fly down there. Like we did all these barnstorming games after I graduated. So I had a bunch of like cash money that we just made going around doing all these games as seniors. And
Uh-huh.
so, I looked up, hotels and the cost and the rental car, like how much all this stuff costs. And so I
Yeah.
made a reservation and I get down to the rental car place and they like, you need a credit card. And I'm like,
Credit card.
I ain't had a credit. I was like, I never had a credit card because I thought if you got a credit card, it was bad. So I was way on the other end of the spectrum, like thinking,
Gotcha.
don't ever do it because if you get a credit card, like it's gonna screw you up. So now I
Mm.
would in a position like that, I get down there and I can't get a rental car, so now I gotta take a taxi to the hotel, gotta go to a place where I can just pay cash. And it was like, and I had I had money and everything, so mine was like the total opposite. Like I didn't have credit because I didn't have a credit card, so I did the other side of the spectrum.
So that's interesting, and that
Uh-huh.
and it goes with both sides because you're going to hear different guys and ladies talk about just the thought process dealing with credit. And they're in a
Uh-huh.
situation like that. You got plenty of cash, but they literally want you to have a credit card in order to
Yeah.
pay for it. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's a
Yeah, and
good
I was like,
point.
I'm telling the people like, the car is $30. Like I got money. Like,
He like, I got
like
it. What
how
what
much,
you, what
like
you
how much,
need?
yeah, I can pay for it. And they like, sir, like unless you got a credit. I'm like, what?
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So
So that was
that's
kinda like my wake up call to just even like the other side
mm,
of not having no credit history and trying to go down there as a like as a senior and I just I didn't know. I'm assuming Coach Holland and those people like they didn't know to tell me. They probably wasn't thinking. I'm telling them I
yeah.
got set up and I was pretty responsible. So you just didn't think about it. So I wish I would have had just been armed with all the knowledge going into even that situation.
Yeah. I normally do this at the beginning, but I almost forgot. What I try to do with these different interviews is just kind of read off the definition of financial literacy because, in my mind, a lot of guys, student athletes, male or female, have this negative connotation of financial literacy as if it means
Uh,
something negative. So, financial
yeah.
literacy is the possession of a set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all their financial resources. Um, and I've always, again, with all these interviews, just always liken it to the fact that student athletes, we all have this ability to form these habits with regards
Mhm.
to the sport that we're in, whether it's working out, whether practice, whatever the case may be. And so I
Mhm.
think if we're able to obviously get current student athletes to really form those small habits dealing with financial literacy, whether it's saving, budgeting, or understanding credit, obviously it's going
Uh-huh.
to make a difference moving
Yeah.
on. So I want to get that out the way real quick. So the next question is, what would you say your worst financial decision you made in college, and what was your best?
Where um shoot.
Because
Dang.
a lot of guys, we're like,
I
we
think my
paying
worst.
for shoes when we get it for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say probably that. To me, looking back as a adult, I was gonna say stacking all them Pell Grant checks.
Hmm.
Like I feel like to me that's my worst, and I say it because like so my grandfather and I didn't know it until after I got older. Probably after I graduated. So my grandfather was like it like he was a by trade he was like a cement person like bricks he built stuff and
Like
this stuff.
physically built stuff.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. So he would
Yeah.
do driveways and like he can do any of that kind of stuff. Like he had like his own business. And then he would buy like dilapidated, like jacked up properties, like for houses that got burnt up, and go in and
Yeah.
do the rehab and like sell them and stuff. And he talked to me after I graduated, and I just think about the amount of money, like I could have had a house or something here, like living in it and renting out rooms and that kind of stuff. Like I wish I would have did that kind of stuff when I was getting like that free money
Yeah.
instead of buying Jordans and just doing, trying to, because it's like we buying stuff and we don't wear clothes, like so really, like who we really trying to like,
Yeah.
because we wearing Nikes every day, we're getting free Nikes every day. Like what was I doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I had
Really
like
worth it.
gold chains, or we want to have like had the best like little stereo system in the towers, and like what? Who could get the best little portable boom box that's the loudest in the
Right.
towers? It's like I could
Definitely.
have at some point I could have tried to get some kind of property here, and I wish I would have been building on that while I was in college. Like I had a person in my family that knew the business and
Hmm.
knew how to get stuff done, and I mean I could have been living in that stuff instead of the tower. Like I think about that kind of stuff.
That's really good. Like I said,
Yeah.
that's interesting. A lot of cats are just like, yeah, obviously paying for shoes, but you took it definitely a step further. That would have been obviously
Yeah.
powerful, and of course that would have compounded quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's see what else. Now looking back on college, and it's probably you touched on this, but looking back, what do you wish you would have done different in regards to dealing with your money? Is there anything that would come to mind, or
Just I mean, even not doing the business stuff, I just wish I would have been putting it up in, even if it was little smaller money market accounts or something that
Yep.
was gain. Because I mean, you getting $3,000 per semester and everything is paid for, and it's like,
Yep.
God, I was stupid. Like I worked at University of Maryland from 15 to 18,
Uh-huh.
and so the kids get the extra little cost of stimulus checks, right?
Yep.
So at Maryland, um, our kids stayed. It was off campus, but it was from like the towers to the field house. Like that's how far these apartments was
Yeah.
that our kids stayed at in Maryland. So they got off. So you get more money if you stay off campus, but it was really on campus.
Yeah.
So their checks might have been like $2,400 a month, and they had to pay 1,000 for their rent, and the rent was like everything. So they were like those kids were pocketing like $1,400 a month. So one of the kids, she, last year was our first year in medical school. She and her family, like everything was taken care of, and she had a well off family. She
Uh,
saved every last one of her checks to help pay for her medicals. Like every one of those 1,400s, she
yeah.
saved for years, and then like she had this big chunk of money for her medical school.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So someone obviously got a hold of her and was able to at
yeah.
least expose her to that.
And she's from like her family was real well off, and she still did it. I was like, dang.
Good. He's like, good for
And the
her.
reason I think like that now is I think like just in the black community, like a lot of times, like we start off behind so much, and so
Yeah.
now I think of my kids, like I don't, like in that kind of situation, like I would want my kids to be able to start off like with a head start, and not starting off from behind like they whole life, where you know, like it's not common in our communities. Like we can pay for our kids' weddings, or we can give them a
Right.
down payment on the house, or like that kind of stuff. Like, so just wanting to be better for myself and for my kids. And that's kind of like
Yeah.
how I think now.
So and you touched on something there, with everything from what you said, it really, to me, it boils down to exposure because we're not
Hmm.
exposed to it.
Yeah.
Story, if you will, both my parents went to college educated. We just never sat at the table and talked about anything dealing with investments,
Hmm.
retirement stocks, bonds, whatever it is. We just didn't talk about that stuff. It wasn't as if, my parents were dumb or anything like that. We weren't exposed to it. And so
Yeah.
my hope again, and I'm no different than any other person, spouting off financial literacy, but my hope is to just expose, our student
Mhm.
athletes to it.
Yeah.
So at least know it's out there and create some type of foundation for it.
Hmm.
So, um, so as far as habits that you formed in college, how are habits that you formed shaped after you got out of college? I mean, I guess how it affected your life after college, I guess is a better way to put it.
I think I just started because I did 2 years of grad school. I think during those 2 years, when
Hmm.
I was able to like really sit down and try to figure out like what I want to do with myself. And I think for me, it kicked off my first time reading a little the Robert Kiyosaki book. I forgot the name of the book. Uh,
Rich Dad Poor Dad?
yeah, so that was kind of like for me that was kind of like ding like a wake up call and like and I'm not saying like I've done all the stuff in the book, but I think
Right.
that got me into the mindset of saving more. Um, my best friend Teron Lue, who's now the head coach of the Clippers,
Yeah.
um, being around him and like he's real good with money and like he would like let me be around him and like his financial advisor and see him talk about saving even like in his situation like talk about saving like and trying to get like automatic things in place to where like you don't see the money, it kind of goes into where you want it
Yeah.
to go to. And for me that's been better with saving, that's been better with bills where like the stuff can get done, I don't gotta like think about it.
Right.
It's not
Right.
it don't stress me out as much either.
Yeah.
Like since it's kind of getting done, I'm like not having to individually do it. I'm like, God dang.
Yeah. And you're busy. I mean, you just obviously life
Uh-huh.
goes on, especially
Yep.
with, your profession as a coach. I would imagine on the go quite a bit. And so, yeah, to have something automated makes
Uh-huh.
a ton of difference. Um,
Yep.
so then, kind of the last question as we kind of head down to the end here. What are some of the pitfalls that you would hope your story would prevent for young student athletes? If you were to look back and
Um,
talk to a young man, a young lady, and just say, hey, I wish I would have blank.
I think the biggest thing is getting educated about credit,
Hmm.
um, learning about saving, really understanding that all the little stuff that we buy when we 20, 21, 22, when we here, when we in college, that don't have no value, that
Yeah.
we like we not even you're not even buying for like a lot of that stuff. I just think like I was buying just to look good for other people who
Yep.
you know what I'm saying for for what.
Yeah.
So it's so I mean I think it's that kind of stuff and trying to get a good sound financial base, trying to get in the habit of like making savings, even if it's not a lot, just getting in like those kind of routines. I think is super important and not getting caught up in trying to impress people that you're not even go see after these 4 or 5 years while you're in college. Like you're
Preach,
not
my
even
brother.
like I don't see these people stuff on Facebook, and on Facebook, everybody's life looks glamorous.
Yeah,
So
it looks
it's
fantastic.
like,
They
yeah.
don't
So
have
it's
a problem.
like,
They don't have a care in the world.
so it's like, like why? I mean, like that stuff is not important. I don't think. Like you got to think about like I think about my legacy, and when I say that, I'm talking about like my kids and like how they go grow up and how people go remember me and what am I gonna leave for the next generation and shoot how important like life insurance is that we don't talk about in the black community, but
Oh
then we
my
gotta
gosh.
have fish fry to get $5,000 if somebody die. We can't even put them in the ground good. So just like
That's
just trying to
another
get
interview right there, man.
yeah, it's like and that's really the way that can help us get ahead. Like
Yeah.
if I'm gone, at least if I leave a nest egg for my people to not be struggling and they can help like that's part of like your legacy. So I think that's like the stuff like I think is important for college students now. don't spend up like they getting Pell Grant and they getting like I thought it was like getting the Pell Grant check and they getting the extra on top of the Pell Grant where all that food is paying for it. Like they could really like have a nice sum of money when they graduate from college and be a lot
Absolutely.
further along. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, man, that's almost the end to end. The
Okay.
last thing is, man, just obviously you went through KU. Just talk about what you've been doing now. What T Newton have been doing. Obviously, coach, just kind of going into that a little bit, man.
Okay. So I mean, now I'm back at KU. So I've coached all over the country, all different levels. So I started in 2011 was my first coaching job, Southern Illinois University. My first job, I had to learn on the go. I went from there to KU 2012, 2013. We went to the Sweet 16. And then I got offered a real good job after that year because I did a good job here to go to University of Alabama.
Hmm.
Um, which for me, I was in my mind, I thought like I want to be a head coach at some point. I wanted to kind of start getting connections so that way I could work in any region of the country.
Hmm.
And I haven't even been out of like Kansas City, Kansas, this area. So I went down there, made a lot of Southeastern connects, learned about SEC football and just how differently they do stuff down there. I went from there to University of Maryland, which so Maryland is now in the Big Ten now.
Yeah.
And we were like a top five, top 10 program for the years I was there. And we won Big Ten championships. And
Oh,
so I've never been out on the East Coast, so I got to make connections out in DC and New York and Philly and like the whole kind of like Eastern
okay.
thing and like Chicago and those different places. And then I went from there till I got offered the job to work with Tyronn Lue with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
T. Lou. Yeah.
So I was the player development coach there. I was there for a year and then he got fired. And
Mm.
so I would go been last season. I was coming back to Kansas City. I was gonna spend time with my family and kind of like take a year off. And
Yeah.
literally 4 days before I was scheduled to have movers come to my house, I got a call from University of Texas, Coach Karen Aston. She had a job come open like August, like late, and she was like, I know you about to move, want to move back with your family, but I need a coach, and I think you'll be good. And so I went down there and fortunately, she was on her last year, her contract. We was 19 and something. We had a good season, finished
Uh-huh.
third in the league. I think COVID was kind of a big part of why she didn't get her contract because we didn't get a chance to play in the tournament and kind of like finish off the season. And
Yeah.
um, oh, and so before I went to Texas in that spring, Coach Brandon here had a job open. And so, but at the time, Teron Lue was negotiating with the
Oh,
Lakers for the Lakers job. So I was gonna go with him with the Lakers. So I talked to Coach Brandon. I was like, man, I would love to come back to KU, man, but I can't pass down this. Like, got the
right.
chance with the Lakers. So he was like, I
Right.
got it. And so probably a few weeks after that, T. Lue back out of the negotiations.
Yeah, I remember. I
And,
remember that. I remember that.
uh, yeah, and then Brandon, of course, hired Coach Chilwell. So fast forward till we go through this year um, at Texas, and first time I seen Coach Brand on the road, he like, man, like I'm happy you got a job and all, but bro, you supposed to be up here at KU, and now I gotta look at you at Texas. So we were like kind of joke with each other, and so went through the year. So Coach Karen, it was a Friday. Coach Karen had didn't get extended. So Brandon like reached out to me like that day, like just checking on me. And
Yeah.
at the time, Coach Tidwell was still here. And I had a bunch of different people from across the country call me about different jobs, and which that felt good. That made me feel like
Yeah.
at least be pretty good. And so
Won't
then
make
I
you feel
thought,
warm and fuzzy inside, right?
yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll tell my baby, like my wife, like, yeah, you see these people want me. And so I
Oh,
think it was like that Monday, Coach Tidwell had resigned. And Brandon called me the next day. Was like, "Hey, like, man, I know people been calling you, but hey, this job came open. Like, would you want to come back?" And I was like, talked to my wife. I was like, yeah, I think it'll be a good opportunity, and end up deciding to come on back to KU. So I should have been here 2 years ago, but I still end up back, so it's been great. I
That's
tell these
cool.
people like the girls on the team now, they the reason I got fired because Texas, we were like 22nd in the league. We came up here and they beat us by like 20. So that was probably like that was the kids Wayne at the game, cheerleading. We came up here and lost, man. I think that might have been the nail in the coffin, man.
No, yeah, that's funny.
So when I first met him, I was like, yeah, y'all the reason I got fired, but I'm happy to be up.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy I'm up here with y'all. So it's been good to be back. And so many of the people that was here when we played here and stuff that work around the athletic department, and it's people
Yeah.
that were athletes like Candace and different people that
Candace, yeah,
like she's on play club. So it's like it's good to see like our people that are still around, and we can still
absolutely.
talk about our old war stories, but then because the kids think that we old now, that we was some bums and we
I
was
know, right?
like they think that we could play just because.
They
So
better look at the tape, the VCR
I
tape.
know, man. Yep. So it's like, I mean, it's cool to have people around that we play with that knew us, and like I went down a few weeks ago and hung out with Candace, and just to see people that's still around that we know, and like people in student support that was around we 17, 18 years old, and get to see us as men with families, and
Yeah,
that the stuff that they helped us do, we came out to, turned out to be good people. So,
yeah, it's cool.
so
That's cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So I mean, it's good to see you. I still remember. It's the funniest thing about all I remember is you having that big old thing you used to wear on the
Oh,
what the neck brace used to
big
play
brace.
with.
I,
That's what that
I,
was.
I had to look bigger, man. I was like, I was
Ah,
soaking wet. I'm like, how
that,
do I add some more weight? So I got
that's
that big old,
that's what that was for.
yeah. I was a linebacker, so I'm taking on these big dudes coming at me.
Oh
And I'm a
man,
small guy. So I'm like, man, I need something.
man. And we used to be at y'all game. We would be all the way down on the fence on the visiting side talking straight noise to the other team. One time I think it was Nebraska. We was talking so bad, we was really kind of scared. We thought they was gonna come do something to us by the end of the game. We
Dang.
was talking so bad to them dudes. So we tailgated at all y'all games. We had tailgate. We would practice tailgate, and then we'd come to the game. We'd be right down on the fence. We'd
Yeah,
be like
yeah.
first rows, like talking stuff. Y'all suck.
My man. I appreciate that, man.
Yep,
That's what we need. We need more trash
yep,
talking.
yeah. We would
So
talk big noise to the other team.
that is funny, man. Well, that's cool, man. Well, shoot. Gosh, it was good catching up with you.
Yep. If you ever need anything else, just let me know. Or
Definitely,
you,
definitely,
you
definitely, man.
can
This
hit
is
me up with
good.
my.
I think again, student athletes they need to hear this stuff. They need to hear these stories. I would love to get some ladies on. Right now,
Okay.
just a bunch of guys. So if we
Yeah.
can get some former, I have
Okay.
Nakia coming on. I think
Okay.
Friday.
Okay.
So, but yeah, man,
Okay.
that's cool.
I see if I can find some people to help you out.
I appreciate it, man. I definitely do, man. I'll let you get back to it. And again, man, I appreciate your time, brother.
Okay. I'll let you later.
Yes, sir. Rock chalk,
All right.
baby.
Rock
Yep.
chalk.
Yes, sir.